Trust the process. Pain is power. All great things take time. I am unbreakable. Unbreakable.
Hello everyone, welcome to the UnBreakables Podcast, episode 3. I am your host, Jay Murga, and this is my co-host and my brother, GiftThePoet.
We have something very special for you guys today. Hip-hop artist who had his first single played on the radio.
Man.
Featured on Genius. Shout out Tom Lehman, because Genius is monumental. To having his feature, that same single, on 99.1 KGGI, iHeartRadio, which is also huge. His first single, All Day, featuring Justice Lucero, is a hit. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce hip-hop artist himself, AIRICK GEEE.
Yo, what it is, what it ain't. Glad to be here.
How we doing, man?
It is an honor, man.
Hey.
Thank you first and foremost, man, for being here and for taking the
course.
time to meet with us.
Of course.
And just like the purpose of our platform is to dive into the minds and the souls of inspiring individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Our goal is to understand the root cause, understand what led you to success, and that's through overcoming adversity, any hardships, or your failure. So without any further ado, man, let's start, from your childhood and just basically major milestones of what led you to where you are today.
Yeah, awesome. So, I grew up in a city called Southgate. It's kind of by LA area. I lived there most of my life with my parents, my mom and my dad. Grew up there all my childhood. I went to school around the area for like maybe a few years, kindergarten to like second grade. Then my mom took me out because at the time, your boy was getting bullied and stuff at a young age. I don't know what it was, maybe because I was a little handsome. I don't know. But my mom had took me out of school and took me to another district, which was like Bellflower, Lakewood area.
Okay, so it's more like LA area, right?
Well, at the time I was in like LA area, and then she took me out of school, and then I went to she tried to put me in a better education system, better, district. So I was there for like till maybe almost high school. That's where I met most of my friends that are out there right now. We met each other in middle school, stuff like that. But going back to my childhood, I after going to school where I lived and stuff like that, mom took me out, put me in a better school. So for the most part, things were good, growing up and stuff like that. And something that I always talk about, and I'm really open about it, is my mom. So like growing up, my mom has always been, my like number one supporter, my number one fan, or whatever you want to call it, but my mom's been there from the jump through everything. And during the time of me moving schools and, meeting new friends all over again, stuff like that, I was at home dealing with, my mom being sick. My mom had a rare disease called scleroderma, which is an autoimmune disease, skin disease. Every year, me and my family now, it's still to this day, we do like walkathons, stuff like that to support the cause and stuff like that. But while I was, moving schools and, starting over with friends and dealing with that, and I was also dealing with, the hardships at home with trying to take care of my mom at a young age. And I felt that I wasn't really understanding what was going on at the time because I was just a kid, I knew my mom was sick. I just didn't know like how much.
So how old were you at that time?
At that time, I was like, when I was moving schools, I believe I was like maybe 11 or 12.
And during that time, that's when she got diagnosed?
She's always been diagnosed since I was born. I think around that time, that's when, because she really never talked to me about it until like when I was growing up. So that's when like I said, I didn't know the extent of it. I just knew, my mom's sick and I need to take care of her, And I know she didn't want to like tell me, because I was young, that's something you don't want to, so growing up, my mom's been in and out of the hospital, and she's been, through the most part of my life, her condition was always under control because of the medication she took. So moving schools, I started there, met a whole bunch of new friends. Like I said, my team that are here right now. And then my mom she was good, everything was fine. Me and my dad, my mom, we're all together. Just growing up, I had a lot of friends where I lived in Southgate. We called each other like the Sandlot kids, where we used to live and stuff like that. Because we every day, I just remember, if I can recall, like we'd always used to just like play block tag or stuff like that. Like we've had a lot of memories with the people that I live with.
So you had a good support team growing up.
Yeah, definitely. But other than that, I think it was up until fast forward to like freshman year, I believe. That's when I went to a high school called Downey High School, and then I left like the Bellflower Lakewood district at the time, and then I went to Downey for most of my high school years, from 9th grade to 12th grade, and around that time of freshman year, my mom and my dad like split up at the time. I'm being very open here. So,
No. This, honestly, dude, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
For you to even just be vulnerable on this platform, we commend you for it.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like those make, the great stories when you're being honest and you're being very open and vulnerable. And, I do see a lot of, artists out there when I'm watching interviews. And I don't want to come here to this podcast or interview and like have a lean cup right here or anything like that. Like I'm not promoting that. I'm not about that life. I'm just me, and I'll be honest and be open with my life.
That's awesome, man. And if anyone's able to take away any influence, or if you're able to inspire them just through your message, I think that's our goal.
Yeah, definitely. So
you left off in high school, Eric.
Yeah.
Continuing on.
So after my mom and my dad split during that time, I believe, what's high school, freshman year, like 15, 14 maybe?
Roughly,
Yeah, so I, dealing with that as well, growing up, I live with my sister. I still do till to this day. Me and my mom we went with my sister after my mom and my dad split up, stuff like that. And it was, kind of difficult and confusing at the time because I didn't really know how to take it.
Was she an older sister?
Yeah, my older sister. Excuse me. So I live with her, since freshman year till now. And at the time I was going to school, high school was great. I always tell everybody that I meet, I'm like, dude, high school, like some people don't like, I didn't like high school because of this or that, or the school, the work. I'm like, dude, I loved my high school. Downey High School, I loved it so much. And what's funny about that too, how I met some of the people out there, Justice actually went to Downey as well. So we met each other in Mayfair Middle School. I met him in middle school. He went like homeschooling or something like that. I left to Downey, and we never really saw each other after that until like his senior year and my junior year, because they're like a year older than me. And I ended up seeing him again. I'm like, Justice, like, you come here? I didn't know you came to Downey. He's like, yeah, I've been here for like a whole year. I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, it's been a year since I seen you. And then ever since that, we just hit it off and
connected again, right?
Connected again because of him right there in the back, Roy. He that's his cousin. I actually knew him at the time, and I hit him. I'm like, hey, like, what's Justice's number? Like, I didn't know he'd come. He's like, yeah, I'll give you his number. Send me his number. And ever since then, like, we're here now making music and stuff.
That is awesome, man. It seems like you have an amazing, supportive team back there.
Yeah, definitely.
That is awesome.
I digress. What I was saying about, growing up. So after high school was good, I went to high school. From 9th grade to 12th grade at Downey High School was a great experience. I loved all my friends there, and, still to this day I do. Graduation was like one of my biggest accomplishments for myself. I know not a lot of like, oh, it's high school, whatever. But to me, I don't know. I know that was something my mom and my dad were like, you better graduate, right? This and that on me, so strict all the time. I'm like, I am, don't worry, So doing that, I know, really made them really, really proud at the time, when that happened. I had my whole family there. And after I graduated high school, I completely like just dived into music, and that's where it started to get like a little bit more busy, me taking it seriously, because I think I started doing music around like taking it seriously around like maybe junior year. Junior year was like the first semester. I was probably like 17, 16 at the time.
What would you say influenced you towards music?
So I've always loved to entertain since I was a kid, whether if it was like making YouTube videos or like gaming videos. They're probably on YouTube now. You could probably look it up. So yeah, I've loved to entertain. Even when I was a kid, I know my mom and my dad bought like my first drum set like when I was like 6 or 7. So I've always loved, music or just to entertain in general. I love to do it. And around the time when I was, trying to take it seriously, I would listen to this artist. I still do to this day. One of my favorite artists that influenced me to do this is Kid Cudi. I love Kid Cudi so much.
Kid Cudi.
And
Shout out Kid Cudi.
shout out Kid Cudi, man. Hey, Kid Cudi's been a super influential artist and just a person to me, just because of his message and what he stands for and what he says. Because I'm really big on mental health too, and I know he is. And we can get into all that, in a little bit. But I know, Cudi, he's very like open about it on
He's
his
an advocate for it.
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
on his music too,
Yeah.
and just on social media and everything. And I love that because it's like a stigma right now that a lot of people
course.
don't like to talk about mental health. And I think it's what I've always said since the beginning, like how people go get physicals every year. I think people should go see a therapist every year too. I think that should be like a yearly thing for like a checkup too, just
really
to talk,
important, yes.
just to talk
Yeah.
and to, maybe
Not hold it in.
it's the same thing, so that's what I try to tell people. But I digress again, reversing back. Yeah, so that's when I started to take it seriously around junior year, graduated, everything was going good. I was just, I met Fliza, which is, you guys' cousin. I met him at the time during high school, but when I graduated, that's when we started, to really work. He was doing his YouTube, stuff like that, and really inspired me to have a lot of people around me that were like just being creative, because it pushed me even more
Of
to,
course.
I see him doing that, or you making music, I'm like, I want to do that too. I'm going to, it's like a friendly competition,
Of course.
But, years went by just putting out projects, learning the ropes of the industry. And, at the time I didn't have like no team at all. It was just me, myself. I wanted to do this. I had a big dream. Where do I start? I don't have like a studio to go to. Like I don't have a videographer or anything like that at the time. I didn't know how
So
to.
it's literally just starting from scratch.
Starting
at that
from
point.
scratch. I didn't have anybody or any like one to like teach me the ropes on how to do that. I just knew what I wanted to do, and I was gonna do it no matter what.
Did you use visualizing in this process of manifesting all of this?
I did as far as how I wanted to, put what message I wanted to put in my music. I knew that for sure in the beginning. I knew what kind of artist I wanted to be from the jump, because of just how strongly, or what the things that I've been through. It really like pushed me to help other people, whatever they're going through. If I can help them in any way through my lyrics or through my music, even if it's like one person that I can touch out there and it can reach them, then I love it. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
amazing.
That's powerful.
I love it.
Very,
so
very powerful.
yeah, that's just been the message, the visual representation that I've had in my mind from the jump. That was something that I've carried with me.
We need more artists like that.
I do. I think we do too, man.
No,
Too many
I'm
artists out
impressed,
there.
man. I was reading your lyrics on Genius.
Oh, okay.
And you talk about strength, you talk about opportunity, you talk about the grinding all day, all night.
Yeah.
What do you tell a viewer listening right now who doesn't have a team, who needs to implement the beehive effect of everyone working together as a unit, dropping the ego? What do you tell that person at home that wants that?
I think it starts with themselves. I think it starts with, loving who you are, even though at the time, like, it was really hard for me to love who I was, but I still pushed through it. And, perseverance and patience is key.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's something that you need to have to, whether if it's music or any business that you're trying to do, if it's school or whatever it is, you need to just push through the hardships and understand it's okay to fail. It's
Yes.
okay to fail. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be heartbroken. It's okay to be human. It's
be
okay.
vulnerable.
It's okay to be vulnerable, because I went through all that. And even more, but I'm still here trying my best to help other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just one of those things where you just gotta, as cliche as it sounds, live every day like it's your last and push through the struggle. Because my mom, this is, man, oh my, I'm gonna get
It's
into
just
it right
getting
now.
started, man.
This is something.
I love
this-
the energy. That's
this
all I'm
is-
gonna say.
This is something that I've always wanted to say to people, that I have told, like, my team, my family, everything. My mom has always told me from the beginning, like everything that I've been through, whether I was a kid or whatever, you know. My last conversation I had with her, even, she said, and this is probably, you probably heard this too, there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
You know, and that might sound cliche or whatever it is, but that is so true. And that's something that I live by, and I tell people so many times, that whatever they're going through, like, there's always a brighter day. The sun comes down, but it goes up the next day and it's shining bright. And that's something that, you know, people need to put into perspective sometimes, because there's sometimes where you can't really see hope and it doesn't seem like there's any light there, but, you know, it's always like that.
And
Yeah.
it just to piggyback off of what you said, it's one of those things where we can't control our circumstances, but you can control the way you view your circumstances. You
Yes.
control your outlook.
Yes.
And I believe, you know, sometimes people get so caught up within those failures or those setbacks that it's hard to overcome them.
Yes.
But like you said, if you focus on that light at the end of the tunnel, it just, you need that perseverance to keep
Honestly,
going.
that's very 100%, that's 100% true. And I'm very open about talking about, like, I went through, I still go to therapy till this day, every like week or whenever I feel like I need to go. But speaking on what you said about there's things that you can't control and things you can't control, there's something that I learned actually in therapy. It's called the locus of control, which means exactly what I just said. You know, there's things in life that you have no control of, that they're gonna happen. It's inevitable. Like, it's even that you try your hardest not to make it happen, it's gonna happen. It's just fate. It's fate, you know.
Yes.
So there are things that you can control, but there's things that you can't control, and that's the things that happen after the things you can't control. You get me? Like,
Powerful, man.
it's crazy, man. My mind's blowing
It's
as I'm
all in the
speaking
mind.
it. You know,
It
like,
is, man.
it's awesome. But that's something that I would tell, to go back on your question on telling a young artist that's starting out, you know, stay consistent. It's okay to fail, and to just love what you do. And I think those are the 3 key things that I would tell somebody.
Love what you do. I love that.
I love that.
I love
Definitely.
that.
No, thank you again, man, for being on. And
Yeah,
we're very honored. You're a very humble person. You have a lot of wisdom, and the fact that you understand how powerful words are, because words, what they do is they create your self-talk throughout the day. And depending on what that self-talk consists of is going to determine the outcomes and the results that you're getting in life.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
people don't really understand that. Or they, you know, it takes people time.
Yeah.
But I love that you're putting out such positive lyrics, because they're just going to help the youth. They're going to help kids. And that's wonderful for your music. You're going to be able to travel the world.
Yeah. Life is crazy, you know. I learned a lot doing this music stuff, and just in life in general. I think one of the points in my life where I kind of had to step up, just as a young man. I'm 22 right now.
Wow.
So you know, I'll be 23 on January 13th. So I think one of the main things in my life that I'm really open to talk about is losing my mom to her disease that she battled for years, even like while she was pregnant with me, you know. And I think that is something that changed my perspective on life and the way I perceive things, not having my mom here anymore. And it's just something that I had to go through, and this is my story, I guess. I questioned it many times, but I think I'm coming to terms with realizing why this happened and maybe why it needed to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never wanted to lose my mom, you know. And no one wants to lose their mom, you know. But, you know, my mom raised me to be this young man that I am now. So I always said to myself, like, if she knew that she wasn't ready, she wouldn't have let go. And she knew I was ready to spread my wings and be the young man she raised me to be, to follow this dream that I've been following. So now I got to, you know, make her proud.
So how did she feel about the music?
She, like I was saying earlier, she was like my number one supporter, you know.
That is awesome.
She supported me in everything. This is something that I tell everyone. It's so funny that while I was like putting out my music videos and doing all that, she's seen all that. And I one time tried to like look at it. I tried to show her on the phone, you know, like people that, they don't know how to like really work the internet,
right?
technology. So I'm trying to remember what it was. I remember I looked on her history of what she put. Oh, I remember. She said, because you know when people put link in bio,
Yes.
she put link in bio, AIRICK GEE, and she put my song. I'm like, Mom, you don't put link in bio, you know? So she thought like, oh, I thought you had to put link in bio, this and that. But no,
she tried. It was an effort.
she
right?
tried, but I'm like, Mom, you know, this and that. But she's such a sweetheart, you know. My mom, if anybody that has met her has always, you know, loved her the first day that they met. You know, she was my supporter. She was my mama bear. I was a mama's boy, and I can admit that to everybody, you know.
Yeah.
I was a mama's boy, and, you know, losing my mom really, you know, broke me as a person, and I'm trying to still pick up the pieces now. And she passed away, I believe it was during 2017 that year. So I was 20.
A couple years ago.
It was a couple years. I was 20 years old when that happened, and you know, it was something very traumatic and stuff like that. But leaning on the more positive side of things, on looking at the brighter side of it, it's really hard to look at the brighter side of things, like something as devastating as that. But I use music as a tool, as like therapy, and to, you know, put what I feel and what I was going through, what I'm still going through on a track, and just put it in. I'm actually working on an EP right now, and I'm putting a whole bunch of, like, you know, mixed emotions on how I felt during that time and how I want to feel. And it's this EP. I don't know if I'm gonna stick to the name of it. I've been wanting to name my EP for the longest, called Imbalanced, which means a lot to me because I've dealt with like depression, anxiety for like most of my life as well. And imbalance is like when some people have depression or something like anxiety or mostly depression, it's like a chemical imbalance in the brain. So that's why that word kind of meant a lot to me. So that's why I wanted to name my EP as
deep,
that.
powerful word.
Definitely. So, you know, going through all these hardships and everything that I went through and learned about myself and people around me, stuff like that, I learned to, you know, like those three things that I said earlier, you know, being positive and pushing through the struggle no matter what, because things can get dark. Things always get dark. And, you know, like my mom said, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm happy to say that I'm here, and, you know, I'm fine. I'm good. Things are fine with my life. I know a lot of people were concerned about me during that time, but I just want to put it out there. Whoever's watching that does know a little bit about me on my social media, that I'm fine. I'm good.
And it could have went an opposite way. I mean, a lot
could
of
have,
people,
you know?
that, especially to that extent of losing your mother, like, I don't think it gets as bad as that. And that hits home, you know. And for you to being able to tap in and, like you said, use your pain as your power, and being able to use music as your tool, I think that's what's going to be so powerful in your music, in your lyrics, because you're coming from inside. You know, it's raw, it's authentic, and I'm sure we'll be able to feel that just by hearing your music.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I want to put, you know, my emotion. I want to be vulnerable. I want to be open with my audience and just tell them my story, and whatever they can pick from that, and whatever they're going through, they could use it to their
and you're going to help anyone out there who's lost a parent, who's lost a loved one. Unfortunately, we're all going to have to go through that. Yeah. But it's part of the process, and everything happens for a reason. I will tell you, she did an amazing job, man. Like, your character, your integrity, it's here.
Appreciate that.
And you're very, very humble. Just thank you. Right off the bat, man, for meeting you. And I know, man, she'd be very proud.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. It means
awesome,
a lot.
Man.
Till we on for show, man. We're not gonna stop. We're gonna keep the grind going.
I know that song. It's good.
Yeah,
it's
man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Right there.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. 2019 has been a great year for you, man.
Yeah.
Great year for you. The momentum started in early April, and I've been keeping up with you since, man. Just because, just believing in people, it really does something different. And if you can see someone in the light that they want to be seen in, it changes the game, man, for everyone, for the whole team.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
But once again, you guys can follow us at the UnBreakables Podcast on Instagram. We're going to be on all platforms, YouTube, Spotify.
Every single platform, guys.
Every single platform.
Will be August 23rd. Make sure you guys tune in. And make sure you follow our boy, AIRICK GEEE.
Yo, thank you so much for having me, the Unbreakable Podcast. I love the energy in the room, and you guys are amazing. Thank you really for having me.
Appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Unbreakable.